Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Kahnawà podcast. This is your host, Emmitt Hamelin. Today is March 10th, 2025, and joining us on the show today is Katsistohkwí Jacco. She is the program manager here at Katsistohkwí, and today she's going to be explaining the KSSEP, the Summer Student Employment Program. And this podcast can be listened to by both the students that are looking to apply to the program and the employers who are looking to find some summer students. Welcome to the show, Katsistohkwí.
Katsistohkwí for having me.
All right, so I guess we'll jump right into it with how to apply for KSSEP. So what do the employers and students need to do to apply for the program?
Okay, so we'll start with our employers since their deadline is quickly approaching. So employers are going to need to go onto our website, which is dewa.ca/KSSEP. On there, they can find all of the resources that are needed to apply to the program, including our KSSEP program guidelines. In that document, employers can find everything and anything they need to know about the program. All of the details are there. And we also have other resources such as work plans and job descriptions that employers can download and fill in if they don't already have their own or a pre-existing job description and they want to use those resources, they can do so. And then lastly, they'll need to go onto our website and find our online application form for employers. That's live right now, and the deadline to submit that application form along with the job description and work plan is on April 2nd, 2025.
All right. So can you explain the eligibility criteria for students first, and then we'll go over, I guess, employers after that?
Sure. So our students who are looking to apply to the program, they need to be full-time students as of right now, so this semester or this term, and they need to be returning to school in fall 2025 as a full-time student. This means that for high school students, they need to be either returning to high school or entering into a full-time post-secondary or vocational program. And then same goes for our CJIP and university students. They also need to be returning to full-time studies in the fall, but we also accept graduates of spring 2025. Whoever's in university right now, they can also apply to the program and they are eligible. And what they'll need to do to apply to the KSSEP is complete the student online application form. We also ask for their resume. And if they're entering into a new educational institution, we ask them to include their acceptance letter to prove that they are returning to school in the fall as well.
Sweet. So, all right. Well, I guess we'll move to like employers. What do the employers need to do?
Yeah, so in order to be eligible for the program, employers need to first have identified a supervisor for their prospective students this summer. So somebody who's already on staff and working at either their business or organization that's going to be mentoring the student or students. They also need to commit to funding at least 20% of the approved project costs. So the funding breakdown is that Katsistohkwí covers 80% of the approved wages and mercs, mandatory employment related costs that we set, and then the employers have to pay the 20% balance and any top up that they may be doing. Employers also must be willing to assume any and all human resource related matters once they start recruiting the students and hiring them.
Are there any like tips that you can offer students like that could I guess maybe increase their chances of being hired for their positions?
Yeah, so I would definitely say just getting that interview for a job that you really want, that's sometimes one of the biggest hurdles, right?
Mhm.
To actually, get your foot in that door, meet the people for the job that you're looking at. A tip that I have is to just, create a really strong resume and cover letter for the position that you're applying for. So ensuring that your cover letter is not only reflecting your skills and qualities and professional experience, but relating all of that to the job that you're applying for. And we also have some tools and resources on our website for students who can go on there and you can find a variety of different resume samples that you can also download and fill in the blanks on. And we have the same for cover letters. So we have so many different resources that we've revamped this year that our employers and students can look to right on our website for help either applying for a position and whatnot. That's my biggest tip to students. And then another one would be if you're a younger student or a student who never had a job before and you're looking to get your first ever job, it would be super important to attend our pre-employability workshops that we're going to be hosting in May. Those dates are in the works right now, so they're to be determined and they'll be announced soon. And we'll also be doing a few information sessions with youth groups, and I encourage students to attend those as well. Again, those are in development right now, so we'll announce those when we get closer in May.
Okay, cool. That's exciting. That's something exciting to look forward to. Are there any like key benefits for employers who participate? I guess both in terms of workforce development and community impact.
For sure, like there's a lot of benefits for employers who are looking to participate in the KSSEP. In terms of workforce development, when an employer participates in the KSSEP, they're helping mentor our youth in the community, whether that's providing a student with their first ever job, as I had mentioned earlier, or mentoring a more senior university student who's almost ready to finish school and enter the workforce, develop their career. They're helping in terms of developing the skills, employability, qualities of our students, and maybe even hiring that student after they graduate. So that is like a huge positive impact on workforce development in the community. We've seen so many different people, former students, go through the KSSEP and have the jobs or careers that they do now because of the program and because of the connections that they've made with employers in their KSSEP job. Then in terms of community impact, it's just great for an employer to be part of a program that offers on average 70 jobs to students in the summer months. I think that's really huge that we're able to do that we have that many employers that are willing to take on students and mentor them and, just show them what it means to have a job, teach them new skills. But at the same time, employers are benefiting because, as I mentioned earlier, Dawdani Zakta assumes the majority of the costs for summer students.
Mhm.
And so for an employer, that's a huge wage subsidy for them while also providing them with the additional, I guess, hands you could say
Yeah.
for the work that they need to get done in the summer. A lot of jobs are seasonal in our community and summer's a peak season. So we definitely help offset that by offering students to different employers.
Is there like a sort of criteria for selecting employer applicants, or is it like a first come first serve or?
For sure. Our applications for employers are not on a first come, first serve basis. Whether you apply now or on April 2nd, we review and accept all applications as long as they meet the deadline. So we review them all equally. Once the deadline passes on April 2nd, we form a KSSEP employer selection committee, which consists of myself, the director of workforce development, a representative from business services, as well as a representative from the Kahnawà Education Center. And we sit and we meet and we review each and every single application equally. They are scored based on 6 different criteria, some of which include if it's an innovative career opportunity for a student, if it incorporates Kahnawà language and culture, if it contributes to the social and economic needs of the community. So you can find our full list of everything that we look for when we are reviewing an application in our guidelines. And that too is a tip that I'm giving to employers in that review the criteria and try to match your job and your position to what we're looking for, because at the end of the day, our priority is providing students with like the best, most quality job opportunities that we can.
Okay. How many employers do you select each year? Does it kind of like hover around the same amount, or is it depending on certain criteria? Like,
Each year really just depends on the amount of funding that we have and then based on what minimum wage is. Because as everyone may know, we have to pay all of our students at minimum what the Quebec minimum wage is. And so each year that goes up. And then so each year, of course, we need more funds to run the program. Our selection depends on funding. That's number one. And On average, I would say though, for the past 2 years, we've had around between 40 to 45 employers participate in the program with about 70 positions.
Oh, wow.
Some employers do have multiple students that come on. We have different summer day camps that are crucial to our economy here in the community. Parents depend on it in order to go to work. And so those organizations that offer that service, we often subsidize those positions. And so they'll usually have multiple students. But then we also have employers who come in with new and creative opportunities every year. And so some employers may only have one or two students that they supervise in the summer.
Can you confirm what the wages are for the students this year?
Quebec minimum wage as of May 1st is going to be $16.10 per hour. And so we have different levels that we've identified in terms of education and how much a student will be paid based on their education. So we have our level A students, which are our part-time high school students. So they're going to earn $16.10 per hour for 25 hours per week for 8 weeks. And then we have our second category of high school students. Those are our full-time high school students. They'll also receive $16.10 per hour for 30 hours per week for 8 weeks. Then we have our CEGEP students. They will be receiving $17 per hour this year for 30 hours per week for 10 weeks. And then we have our university level students who are at the undergraduate or studying for their bachelor's. They're going to be receiving $17.75 per hour for 30 hours per week for 12 weeks. And then our last category is our graduate students, so our master's and PhD students. They'll be receiving $20.50 per hour for 30 hours per week for 12 weeks.
Okay, sweet. Can employers top up the wages for the summer students?
Yeah, of course. So we actually encourage employers who are employing more senior university level students or our graduate students, like whoever's studying for their master's or PhD. We do encourage employers to top up for students at that level, mostly because to commensurate with their education and experience. Normally those students are a little bit older and they've done so many different KSSEP jobs at that point. They're almost ready to graduate. They have more of that experience. So yeah, of course, we encourage them to top up the salary compared to what we offer at our base rate.
I guess we'll move towards the selective recruitment initiative. So this is where employers can selectively recruit students to positions without posting a job.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so in the past, KSSEP has encouraged that the selective recruitment is. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so the selective recruitment initiative, as Emmitt just mentioned, if an employer and a student get approved for this, so this also goes under our review process when we meet after the April 2nd deadline. So if the employer and student get approved for this initiative, then you're correct. The employer does not have to post the position. The idea of it's all in the title, selective recruitment. So we encourage our employers and students to network amongst themselves during this period in March, right before our April 2nd deadline, to determine if they would like to work together this summer. A lot of the times we have students who are studying in a very specific field, and an employer may need that student to come and work for them in the summer, or they'll really benefit from it, right? Because whatever they're studying is maybe super relevant to the business or the organization, or vice versa. So we encourage this because we recognize that it's important for students to develop their networks and professional careers as students, so that once they graduate, they're more likely to either maybe stay with that employer once they finish their studies, or they built up these super important skills that were relevant to their studies, and now they can most likely be successful in applying for their own on their own for a full-time job, and then acquiring that job. So that's the whole idea, is that we want to support students and employers who wish to work together based on the match between the skills of the student and the needs of the employer.
Okay, so the most important information here was where can employers and students find information about this year's KSSEP program? Maybe just reiterate where people can find all the information about the program.
Our number one resource where you could find everything that's going on with the program, is on our website, which is dewa.ca/KSSEP. So like I mentioned, all of our online application forms are there, our guidelines and our different tools and resources for employers and students. Everything is there, but you can also find up-to-date information about the program on social media. So Dewa Zakta's Facebook page, our Instagram page, and then we also have our Dewa Youth Instagram and TikTok accounts. Stay tuned for more content coming out about our KSSEP on there. And of course, if you have any personalized questions, you can contact me, Katsistohkwí Jacco, by phone at 450-638-4280 or by email, which is katsistohkwí.jacco@kedc.biz.
All right. So I guess that closes out our KSSEP podcast for today. I'd like to thank Katsistohkwí Jacco for joining us today and answering all these questions. I know we really dug in and got these difficult questions answered today about KSSEP. So thank you for coming on and giving us all the secrets here.
No problem. I'm looking forward to another summer with all of our employers and all our students. So as I mentioned, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me or consult our website. And yeah, just looking forward to all the unique jobs that we're going to see this summer.
All right, and that's it's going to be a busy summer, but that's what we do here at Dewa. We love those busy summers. That was our KSSEP podcast. So thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Emmitt Hamelin. See you next time.